Hi everyone, Medina here, and thank you so much for joining me on my channel Arise Humanity and also on my Soul Tribe channel on Rumble. I have so much news to share with you today, so there's lots to catch up on. First of all, I'm going to save my very big news that's quite exciting about a global thing that I heard at a very high level of intel that's going to really impact humanity in big ways if it actually transpires. And it's coming up within days. So stay tuned for that at the end of this chat because it's pretty exciting and it's from a very good source of information. So my first thing that I'd like to share today is that I just caught up. It was quite fun. I caught up with a wonderful new friend on my island yesterday, and she gave me a gift. And I said I should show that on my channel. So I'll show you what it is. It's a mosquito tea towel. And if you can see at the bottom, it says, she's got a real good sense of humor, and it says, I have a huge following. Isn't that gorgeous? I have a huge following, and she's been watching my channel even before she met me. So I thought that was really funny. I said I'm going to put that on my channel. I have a huge following and use it for manifestation. But it's got a beautiful tea towel here, which is a flour sack tea towel with mosquitoes, and I have a huge following on it, so I think that's pretty funny. And she makes it herself on our island. If you're interested in ordering one, just please email me. And her name is Dee. So she does these wonderful things, and that was a beautiful gift. And I thought, well, that's a good thing to put out there. I have a huge following. Okay, so next of all, I wanted to share that on a personal note, I don't know about you, but my meditations at the moment are getting stronger and stronger and more powerful. So as we're getting all these huge downloads, high frequency downloads in light, activations, we are really raising the bar in terms of our ability to meditate as well. And I've been getting strong personal sort of pushing by my spiritual team to do more meditation as well. So that is really interesting to note that they're becoming much more palpable, these meditations, and much stronger, and you can connect much easier, much quicker. I remember years ago, 20 years ago when I'd meditate, it was actually hard sometimes to connect, energetically. It felt like you're working through it like a thick fog. It was very hard to do the meditations at times back then, but now it's just much more effortless and much easier. So that is really good news. If you want to do more meditation, it's going to really support you. And I sat down yesterday and I couldn't move for like an hour after I did my meditation because it was just so powerful, the energy. So that's a really good thing to do at the moment, and to sort of connect inwardly on that level, and really recommended. Another thing that's recommended at the moment, if you're guided, is fasting. And I have myself done quite a few fasts this year, and I was guided to do another one. And I was thinking probably maybe about 5 days for myself. And it's always a personal decision because our bodies are all different and we have different needs. And so you have to tune into your own body and see what aligns with your own energy and what's good for your health. But for me, I was getting maybe 5 days would be good, but I got to day 3, the end of day 3, and I started to wilt, and I was feeling really quite low in energy, and I couldn't work properly. And I thought, that's it. And I just sort of checked in, and I got that I was to start gradually going back into food again, and my partner made me some beautiful vegetable soup, and and then I was, back on board with, gradually introducing, the foods again. So it is a personal thing. And for me, I just had to sort of go with the flow. And when I realized it wasn't really going to be ideal for me to do the 5 days, I went with the 3 days. So that's good to note. And a quick shout out to my partner as well, who, when we went for a walk the other day, there was a little boy. It was so cute, little ginger-haired boy, little tiny little thing. He was stuck high up in a tree, and my partner went and rescued him. And then in the same walk, there was a dog just about to eat a chocolate bar, and we knew the owner and the dog, and he also stopped the dog from eating the chocolate bar by telling the owner. So there was two rescues in one walk. So that was really lovely. Well done to my partner. And so I'd like to also share with everyone, before we get into the talking points, that there is an incredible opportunity coming up, which is a pretty rare one. Ian Welsh doesn't do online workshops much anymore because he's so busy with his incredible product, the Aquan product, and he's building a healing center by hand. So he doesn't have a lot of time, but he is, due to demand, he's doing a Christmas masterclass workshop with me, and we're going to be going over if you have any allergies. He's going to do some work on clearing, healing any allergies. If you have any birth trauma, and you may want to douse this or use a pendulum to see if you do. He's also doing a healing and clearing on any birth trauma. And we'll also be doing some other new topics as well. And he will be also revising his incredible golden age practices, which have been incredibly popular. Pretty much all his workshops this year, and we've done so many now, at least 16, I think, or going up to 18, something like that. And most of them have been, pretty much all of them, if not all of them, have been booked out. So if you want to join the Christmas Masterclass online workshop, it's only one Australian dollars, 111 Australian dollars, and that's coming up in December. So please book. The link is below if you'd like to book for that. And you can ask questions as well, which will be great. So it's very personalized. And of course, if you want to purchase an Aquan product, these are Christ consciousness products with that energy in them. There's no other products like them that I know of. And they are truly uplifting and help you with the ascension process, working towards, being in the golden age. The link below for that, check them out there in the link below, and you can order them there as well. So now I'd like to start with some of the talking points, which are that I'm noticing that synchronicities are really amping up for everyone at the moment. So I have a story to share about a synchronicity, which was really interesting. So I went to Denson's house, and we did this amazing connection and channeling with the Ascended Masters, which is a previous video that I posted. And it was really interesting because Archangel Michael came through, and he said, I have a message that I would like to share with the guests, that are coming later in the week to Denson's house. Now, I have a couple of beautiful guests coming to visit me on the island that are part of my Patreon community, and they were coming later in the week. So that was the message from Archangel Michael, that he had a message for them. So then, just to, inspire them and give them extra excitement in coming to visit, I told them that Archangel Michael had a special message for them. And Kaz told me that she had 2 days prior connected in a meditation with Archangel Michael for the very first time, and that he was wanting to give her a message, but she wasn't sure what it was. So she was going to ring me, Medina, as in me, and ask me what the message was. And that's really synchronistic, because I'm going to be taking her to Denson's house to share this message from Archangel Michael. So that is an incredible synchronicity that just happened. And I'm noticing around me and around everyone that I'm talking to, synchronicities are really amping up at the moment. Another interesting synchronicity, and it's to do with soul alignments, I believe, was that as many people who watch my channel know, I absolutely love ABBA. I know all the songs by heart. I'm a #1 fan. And I think one of the reasons why I really align with them is there is obviously, you know, some sort of soul alignment there. Maybe we're from the same, starseed family type thing. To me, that would make sense, because all their music aligns with the music that I write. I even wrote a song called No Last Goodbye, and the Washington Post did a review on this song and said it was ABBA-esque, as in very much like ABBA. So I have that natural sort of impetus to write songs that are very similar to the ABBA songs anyway. And another synchronicity was that my very first song that I ever wrote when I was like 14 or 15 was called Alley Cat. And one of the very first songs that ABBA recorded on together was Alley Cat. It was performed in 1975. This was not an original song of theirs. It's a somebody else's song, but they did perform it together as one of their first recorded singing events together in 1975. And that was one of the first songs I wrote. So I thought that was an interesting synchronicity, but I have a lot more synchronicities with them that I think is a soul, you know, connection on some level. And you might find that, you know, with things that you're aligned to, that there's a deep sort of soul resonance, which means you're connected on a soul level, potentially from the same similar soul family. So that was my next point. I'd like to talk too about this week, because with the 1111 energies and the portal or gateway that was so powerful for us this year, it was particularly powerful this year, the 1111 gateway, and also combined with the new moon energies. I noticed this week that after that, a lot of people reported sickness, you know, like flus and things like that. 2 friends said their whole families went down, including their partner, with, you know, flus and sicknesses and things. So, you know, to me, that really seems to be spiritual upgrades. You know, as we move forward on the ascension process, we have to transmute any shadow aspects of self. And so those sorts of things at the moment, especially when there's an event like the 1111 portal, can indicate that there's a spiritual upgrades happening, where you go through like a sort of, can be called like a healing crisis, can be called, or a healing, you know, process, where you're bringing all the stuff up to the surface that you no longer need and that no longer serves you, and you're transmuting it. So that seemed to be happening very much this week. I also had quite a few light worker requests, and so I'll be activating my light worker team shortly to put those people in it. If you're part of my Patreon community, you can make use of the light worker team, which are a wonderful team of light workers who are doing their universal service for the planet by sending remote and distant healing to people via their name, location, and a photo helps as well if people want to include a photo. But you need to be part of my Patreon community, and you will be able to receive these incredible healings from my light worker team, including amazing analysis. One of the members does an incredible comprehensive analysis for people as well of what she's picked up, and it's always spot on. So big shout out to Helen in the team for doing that as well. It's incredible, and all the Lightworker team are doing an amazing job, and I want to just really credit you all for everything that you're doing. You can join my Patreon community in the link below. So continuing on, this is not so positive, but I think it's really important to report it because we're not hearing it obviously in the mainstream media. And we only hear these things I'm about to talk about at the moment through personal people that we know, or personal hearsay of the things going on around us. But we're hearing this amping up more and more. And there are so many examples of this that I'm hearing. So I'm just going to give you one example, just to share and expose the truth, of what's going on out there in the world. We know that the effects of this in the arm are amping up now. They're really accelerating. A friend of ours, his brother, was in the hospital the other day, and I won't say where the hospital was, but he overheard a staff member saying that the medical staff and doctors were dying. And that was, a direct comment that was shared, that he overheard him saying to another staff member that doctors and medical staff were dying. And we know that this was mandated for them as well. So obviously, the effects of this are really starting to kick in, as we can see in the world around us. I actually have many more stories that I could share on that note. You probably have all heard things as well in your personal circles, because that's really the only way that we're hearing it at the moment. Unless you're on Telegram, which also has sites which share these sorts of things as well. Okay, so seemingly the arrests are amping up at the moment. Now, this is super exciting. We are hearing that arrests are really amping up. We know that the higher levels of the dark have been taken out, and they've been working their way down the list. And now it's more the minions and the lower level nefarious ones that are being arrested, it seems, from the reports that we're hearing. So there was a video, a very credible video, with a man sharing, and he was showing all around him that in New York, all over New York, down side streets and main streets and everywhere, there were police cars everywhere, and that many of them had their sirens on, blaring, and just police cars everywhere. So it looked like these arrests were happening all over the place. And he also showed a man in a moon boot walking down the street. So the moon boot, we know that can be house arrest as well. And there were literally police cars everywhere all over New York. And it was, he said, thousands of them. So it was really amping up. It seems that these arrests are truly happening. And then also SG Anon just posted on his Telegram site that he heard from 3 separate people that doctors and medical staff are being arrested now also in America. And of course, we assume that is part of their complicity in the crimes against humanity with this. So seems like the arrests are really amping up as well. And we also have some extremely exciting news. Now, this is the news I'm saving till nearly last to share with you, which is to do with the financial sector. So I have a contact who has a huge network, global network, and he's aligned with some people who are connected with the Alliance in the UK, and they're very high up in the financial sector. And they said to him this week that on the 19th of November, there will be, and the words were, there'll be an announcement or there'll be a release, something like that, of the Nasara Jasara on the 19th of November. So they've told all the people higher up in the financial sector in the UK that this is coming up. And so let's just wait and see how that unfolds. But it does sound extremely encouraging and promising. So that is on the 19th of November, and it aligns also with the ISOS regulation to do with that is happening also on the 19th of November. So there's something to do with the gold standard as well, and a regulation that also is completed on that date, which means that it's sort of synchronistically aligned with a potential announcement or something on that date. So let's just see how that unfolds. And in terms of exciting shows coming up, I have a wonderful guest I'm interviewing next week, early next week, called Carrie Fields. And she is an Australian lady who she has a quite a huge following, and she shares some really insightful posts on Facebook that I've been following for a while that share a lot of really fascinating metaphysical information, connection with the galactics, and she will have some wonderful things to share with us that may just blow your mind. So that's an interview with her coming up early next week. And I also have an interview with a wonderful young man called Felix. And Felix is a wonderful artist, and he's very awakened being, and he's going to share his enlightened views on the world, and he's going to share some of his creative artwork. He has been doing a community project on the Sunshine Coast recently to inspire youth, and I really like to have the younger generation on my show as well to share their perspective. So it's going to be fantastic to welcome Felix, and also the incredible Carrie Fields doing massive work on the planet at the moment. So she'll share that with you. And next week, if you love animals, as part of my Patreon community, our Soul Mastery group, which do a fortnightly healing on the planet, are going to be doing a healing and blessing for protection on all the animals. This has come up as a request from some of the Patreon members because, for example, there is a thing that's just come out, an awful article, which I'm going to put in the link below, where they're calling for a culling of the koalas in Queensland in a certain area. And just reading it's just horrible. So we need to send protective energy and healing to the koalas in Queensland. If you can contact your local MPs about this and tell them to stop this culling, that would be brilliant. I'll read the link below. We do not want any of our koalas killed. They are beautiful, and they're also, as we know, due to the impacts on the environment around us, they are dwindling more and more in their numbers. So we must try and take action for that as much as we can. Also, there's another culling being called for the brumbies in Victoria, the incredibly beautiful brumbies that run free in the Victorian plains. The man from Snowy River Territory. We want to also do a healing on that with our planetary group. And a friend also reported that her dogs have been increasingly anxious in the last few days. So that was interesting to hear. And so, maybe the animals are needing a boost at the moment. So we're going to join together and send them beautiful healing energy. So love you to join us. If you want to join my Patreon community, it's $10 a month Australian, and it's well worth it for the contribution that you make. We also, as part of that, have a community chat once a fortnight, which is great to touch base with one another and debrief and share. It's very cathartic, and we all really enjoy it. So my last point I'd like to make today is that we have an upcoming live event symposium on my Soul Tribe show coming up, which is on the Sunday, the 26th of November. My next show's got the amazing Ian Welsh coming up this week, which will be really exciting. But the next one after that will be this symposium, a live event symposium, which will be a healing and blessing for planetary water, and it will be empowering truth on a planetary scale. We'll be working with Tom Palladino and the Scalar Light Energy, who will be doing that at the same time, utilizing that. We will have quantum energy practitioners around Australia at the same time, also working with their quantum devices on these particular topics as well. There'll be multiple number of them working on it, which is really exciting. And I'll also be doing prayers and prayerful intention for the water and for empowering truth on the planet, which the audience, all the viewers can join in and work with. And on top of that, there'll be a special guest, which will be FCB, which will be brilliant. I haven't chatted to him for a while, so it'll be great to touch base with him and get his wonderful energy participating and also sharing the evolution of the FCB platform that has happened and has had major impact globally with his FCB platform. And I'm blessed to be able to share my show on that channel. He even apparently, I heard a friend was telling me, and this is just hearsay, but she told me that Trump just mentioned the pulse in a speech, and his show, The Pulse, was getting up to #1 spot on the Rumble daily leaderboard in terms of viewership and following. So I feel that maybe that was a nod to his show, The Pulse, on the FCB platform, Trump's direct nod to The Pulse. So that's pretty amazing. So good work, FCB. And so I think that's my complete updates for today. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave any messages below, comments below. Maybe you've got something that you'd like to share with the collective that helps us all to gain knowledge about what's happening at the moment, as of course we can't gain it by watching mainstream media, although there is more and more exposure and disclosure happening. I'm watching in the mainstream media, which is part of the white hats disclosing more and more, because through the narrative that I'm aware of, they're now in control and they're starting to reveal more and more in terms of the mainstream. So it's a very, very exciting time. There's a lot to be positive about, and just focus on keeping your frequency high. Don't allow the negative stuff to drop your frequency, because that's exactly what the dark or the Kabbalah are wanting us. They're counting on us to feed off that negative life force, and we don't want to give it to them. So stay high frequency. If you want a session with me or a mentoring, 6 weeks of mentoring, go to my medina.com, and I'd love to work with you at this time. This is a wonderful time to work on our own evolution, now more than ever. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. Have a beautiful week, and I'll see you hopefully on the next exciting show that's coming. Bye.